Glaciers are remarkable witnesses to the history of our climate and our environment. Through the centuries, they have recorded the heartbeat of our planet. The ice naturally holds a memory of the past atmospheric composition. However, for 2 centuries, nearly all of the world's glaciers have been facing an insidious threat. Glaciologists watch helplessly as thousands of years of precious data held inside the ice is lost. Before it is too late, a massive scientific project is being launched to save the last remaining portions of ice from our planet's largest, most symbolic glaciers.
Ice memory.
March 2016. Unable to halt the unrelenting melting of the ice, Carlo Barbonti and Jérôme Chaplaz, 2 renowned glaciologists specializing in the study of ice and climate, have embarked on a monumental operation called Ice Memory.
The Ice Core Heritage Project consists of going to glaciers that are currently being affected by global warming, that are in real danger and are disappearing, before even being subjected to summer melting periods, meaning the ice is no longer any good for recording atmospheric parameters, etc. Then, extracting 3 ice cores down to bedrock and using 1 to study reference analyses, doing everything we know how today, using today's methods on 1 ice core so that future generations will have a reference database. The other 2 will be dedicated to World Heritage and stored in Antarctica. We need to do something for the future generations, because in 20 to 50 years, there will be new technology that can be used to extract additional information from the ice cores. Perhaps one day the glaciologists of tomorrow will be capable of studying the biological content of an ice core, of studying viral content, for example, to monitor a virus over time, see when it mutates, when it becomes a danger to humans. There's a whole range of scientific studies that we have barely touched upon today and will most likely be possible on these ice cores.
I think it's really powerful that projects can still exist today that rally people together around an ideal, around a dream. Because honestly, it's crazy to think that in the beginning, when we said we would travel to the 4 corners of the planet to drill ice cores, sometimes in wildly challenging conditions, we often thought we wouldn't get there.
In August 2016, Ice Memory's first drilling campaign was led on the Col du Dôme at the foot of Mont Blanc. It was a kind of full-scale test expedition. This site is well known among glaciologists, who have been studying it for decades.
Glaciers are like spies, recording the parameters in a region. If, for example, we want to study the change in heavy metal emissions due to European industrial activity, you won't find it in Antarctica. You won't find it in Greenland. You'll find it in the Alps.
Patrick Ginot is the expedition leader for this mission. However, this is not the glaciologist and mountaineer's first drilling campaign. He has extensive experience in high-altitude core drilling. For 20 days, 6 French, Russian, American, and Italian scientists are setting up their base camp at an altitude of more than 4,350 meters. They hope to drill the first 3 ice cores in the entire operation. For the team, it is also an opportunity to test the new drill, specially designed for the project. It has yet to touch the ice, and the scientists do not know if the ice cores extracted will live up to their expectations.
Ice coring really involves trying to extract ice in conditions that are not necessarily as theoretical as you might think. So, the ice core drill is an instrument that needs to be constantly adapted to the conditions on the glacier.
The first ice cores drilled are of very high quality and a perfect match for the standards that the scientists had set for themselves.
Preserving samples today during a period of significant warming is important because if we do it in a few years or a few decades, it will be too late. I'm not convinced that everyone is fully aware of the importance of what we're doing today. We hope that, come the day when the ice is no longer available in good condition on site, and when future generations of researchers go to sample this ice in Antarctica, they will think of us.
After 12 days of intensive work, 3 ice cores measuring 126, 128, and 129 meters in length were extracted from the glacier. This initial expedition was an opportunity to test ice memory's structure and make sure it was possible to extract high-quality ice from symbolic drilling sites.
My hope is that my international colleagues, in fact anyone with access to this type of glacier and the ability to drill there, will contribute to this world heritage and ultimately do their part.
In March 2017, a large international conference was held at UNESCO. Glaciologists from all over the world were invited to take part in the Ice Memory Project.
Ice Memory Project is very important not only for us as individuals, but I strongly believe it's important for humanity itself.
It's not trivial to get people from different countries with different governments, different sorts of politics, to come together and agree on something.
We reached a strong conclusion. We all want the same thing. We all want to work to create this ice core archive. We all decided together that this legacy should be stored in Antarctica, and we all decided that these cores should be dedicated to World Heritage. Some extremely important decisions have been made, and that is a crucial shift for ice memory.
Time is of the essence. All over the world, glaciers are retreating at an alarming rate. For some, it is already too late.
During the 20 years that I've worked in the Andes, I've actually seen a glacier disappear, the Chacaltaya Glacier. It's something that leaves a mark on a life, that leaves a mark on a career in glaciology. So trying to save these things from glaciers seemed the obvious choice.
Not far from Chacaltaya, another glacier that peaks more than 6,000 meters above sea level is also suffering the early onslaught of global warming. Nevado Illimani is one of the few glaciers in Latin America dating back to the Earth's last major ice age. Its oldest ice is almost 20,000 years old.
We will be able to reconstruct biomass burning in the Amazon basin from several millennia. Add to that the anthropogenic activities of the city of La Paz and its surroundings over decades, even centuries.
The glaciologists cannot afford the risk of seeing this millennia-old ice disappear. A second drilling campaign in the Ice Memory program is planned. This time, it will be taking place at an altitude of more than 6,400 meters. Excellent physical, mental, and logistical preparation is crucial for enduring the extreme conditions that await the scientists at the summit. The whole team will be beginning the expedition with a long month of acclimatization.
We're leaving to go and acclimatize on the Salar at around 4,500 meters. We'll also be going to Sarama, where maybe we'll float with 5,000 meters, to make sure our bodies start producing red blood cells so we're ready for the final ascent. For me, this is a first. It makes your head spin a little. I feel a bit dizzy. We'll stay here for a night to acclimatize over more than 12 hours to prepare for the ascent that awaits us next week.
The logistics for this new drilling site look set to be immensely complex. At an altitude of more than 5,000 meters, helicopters can no longer fly. However, several tons of equipment and survival kits must be transported to the summit.
Ice coring on Illimani is a little riskier, a little more involved, let's say, than on the Col du Dôme, because we're working at much higher altitudes. We'll be keeping an eye on ourselves to make sure we don't have any problems throughout the operation.
Patrick, what's happening?
It's the ceremony to make sure everything goes well on Illimani. So you have all the instruments for the ceremony, coca leaves, special equipment, beer, alcohol.
This expedition relies more than ever on a strong team of Bolivian porters and guides, without whom nothing would be possible. The Bolivians place great importance on nature. Before beginning the ascent, a ceremony is organized to request permission and protection from Earth Goddess Pachamama. The weather risks do not discourage the first groups of porters from departing. Now it's the turn of the scientists. Several hours of walking separate the base camp from the intermediate camp. One more night of acclimatization at 5,500 meters is needed before facing the final stretch of the ascent. Recent snowfall has made the snowpack unstable. The guides, porters, and researchers are on high alert. The researchers must push beyond their limits and demonstrate inexhaustible endurance to battle altitude sickness. Each step, each movement takes a great deal of energy. Breathing becomes shallow, and the body is subjected to tremendous strain. The toughest challenge is not getting to the top. It's staying there for several weeks. Very quickly, the new international team of researchers is faced with the reality on the ground. Gusts surpassing 80 kilometers an hour strike the camp and force the scientists to take shelter for more than 24 hours. At these altitudes, patience and humility are imperative. Despite these extreme conditions, they press on with the drilling, day after day, meter after meter.
The longer you stay there, the more tired you feel every day. I wouldn't say it's easy. It's not easy, but it's important. Because if we don't do that, well, it will simply disappear.
Are you glad?
Yes. Well, that's the bedrock. First.
Day in, day out, and through all weathers, the porters brave the elements to secure the ice core's descent to the intermediate camp. Each day is a genuine race against time, and the quality of the data contained in the ice hangs by a thread. The slightest fault in the cold chain and all the collective efforts will have been for nothing.
Come on, pick up the poor little ice core. Yeah, pick it up.
After an expedition lasting more than 6 weeks, the glaciologists managed to drill 2 heritage ice cores measuring 137 and 144 meters in length. Quite the achievement given the conditions encountered. The porters embark on a dizzying descent, walking several hours to the base camp. At the crack of dawn, the scientists who stayed at the support base received the ice cores and packed them up. The ice samples must make it to the refrigerated container before the sun rises too high in the sky. The precious ice cores begin a long 3-week journey back home to the industrial cold room in Grenoble. This is where they will be stored before being analyzed and sent to Antarctica.
Antarctica is the best freezer in the world. No need for electricity. It will be -50. The ice cores will be kept in perfect condition. It's a land of science. The cores are heritage for humanity. I think today we cannot say what the world will look like in 300 years when scientists, or anyone else, open these boxes to find the ice cores. By making this donation to people who do not yet exist, who will surely be brighter than we are in 200, 300 or 400 years, we are showing them that the ice will live on after us. And it's so important, whatever becomes of these cores, that today this project also serves to raise awareness about our interest in protecting our planet.
Today, this project only exists and will only exist in the years to come because civil society is rallying around it. The first mission was entirely funded by corporate sponsors as well as private individuals. Donating to this project is also saying we have faith in humanity, that we trust the team, that we have confidence in science, and, once more, that we have faith in the researchers of tomorrow, who will help the humans of the future and drive science forward.